Well, Allison, hello to you. This is certainly a part of the airport that you don't usually see here at Atlanta, the world's busiest airport. Chances are, if you've ever been on a Delta flight, then the plane that you've been on at some point has been in one of these hangars. This is where all of the maintenance happens, including changing the air filters that you find there on board. Now, before anybody gets on a flight, you've got to be wearing one of these. That's a requirement. But with more people now again taking to the sky, there's a growing question around the air and wondering just how safe the airline cabin air is that you're breathing while in flight. So we took a behind-the-scenes look to find out. Here's how that air works. First, it's filtered through these HEPA-grade filters. Those are similar to what you might find in a hospital operating room. And at the same time, fresh air is coming in from the outside. And that air, that recirculation is happening every 2 to 4 minutes. There's a new batch of air coming in. Now, we actually went inside the belly of the plane to take a look inside the cargo hold as that air filter was being changed. Take a look. Air travel is once again starting to take off. How are you feeling today about getting back on a plane?
Pretty good.
You're feeling good?
Excited.
But in the age of COVID-19, fear of flying still lingers.
For nights of service in New York, LaGuardia.
I'm nervous. Why? A little nervous. Just being in that enclosed space with a lot of people. With people coughing and sneezing and then going through the air.
But just how does air quality work in flight? The air you breathe on board is a combination of fresh air brought in from outside and filtered air that's recirculated through the cabin. The air flows from top to bottom, not side to side between passengers, meaning it comes in from the vents above and is sucked out through the vents in the floor. It's run through these heavy-grade HEPA filters, similar to those used in hospital operating rooms, which pull out more than 99% of particles in the air. That is mixed with fresh air from outside. Now, Delta Airlines taking new steps to ensure that cabin air is as clean as possible. So there's a completely new batch of air that comes into the aircraft every 2 to 4 minutes.
Every 2 to 4 minutes.
On every aircraft, changing those filters twice as often as recommended.
You may notice that it's dirty on the top where the air has flown into the filter, but it'll be clean on the bottom side.
And what does that show us?
That shows us that the filter's working.
Experts say it's not likely viruses will be spread in flight.
It turns out the time on the airplane in the seat is actually the lowest risk.
So you're saying the air on an airplane is actually cleaner than you would find inside of a grocery store?
Yeah, it's cleaner than probably most people's homes or in schools.
But in close proximity, nothing is foolproof.
Certainly, we can't do all the physical distancing we'd want to on an airplane. So, there's no such thing as zero risk.
That's why airlines are requiring masks and upping their sanitation routine. Between every Delta flight, the entire cabin sprayed with disinfectant and wiped from top to bottom. New boarding procedures, loading from back to front, and a commitment to block middle seats through September.
There isn't any one action that we are taking that is the silver bullet, but when you layer in all of these mitigating actions, the probability with each layer, the probability of virus transmission goes down and down and down, and that's been our approach all along.
And Delta says they've now committed to changing those air filters twice as frequently as required. Now, across the board, airlines are upping their sanitation practices. We took a look at what Delta's doing. They're spraying down the entire aircraft inside and also wiping it down before every single flight. They've also committed to blocking the middle seats and keeping planes at 60% capacity at least through September. Now, Allison, for those who may get on board, take a flight, and still feel, even with those reduced capacities, that the flight is too full, Delta says that you can always rebook to a later flight free of charge. Well, Allison, hello to you. This is certainly a part of the airport that you don't usually see here at Atlanta, the world's busiest airport.